So the state of California has initiated its plan to defy the Supreme Court's ruling in Bruen. The state of California has introduced a new CCW bill that still heavily restricts CCWs, and also the state of California went ahead and doxed California gun owners. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think the state of California needs to stop violating our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of the main supporters of this channel, which is USCCA. Through your membership, you get training, education, and self-defense liability protection. So if you carry a firearm, I highly recommend you take a look into USCCA, and I'll put a link to them down in the details section. So like I said in the intro, the state of California is up to its Second Amendment violations once again. These actions have come directly as a result of the Supreme Court's issuing of the landmark decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen, which struck down May issue licensing schemes. In this video, I want to talk about two really important things that have happened in the state of California. First is the fact that the California Department of Justice released personal information of all CCW holders in the state of California, along with much more information. The second thing that I want to talk about in this video is the fact that the state of California is putting in place a new CCW bill and law, which attempts to circumvent the Supreme Court's decision. So first, let's talk about this quote-unquote data leak, which happened on Monday, where California gun owner information was released. If you're not aware, on Monday, the California Department of Justice updated its firearms dashboard portal. In the update, they included information which they stated would lead to more transparency, and it did lead to more transparency, just transparency into all of our private information. What ended up happening is that on the portal, the California Department of Justice released and ended up exposing the personal information of individuals who were granted or denied CCW permits from 2011 on to 2021. So what information was exposed in this database? Well, the database included the names, date of birth, gender, race, driver's license numbers, addresses, and criminal history of everyone who was granted or denied a CCW. But the exposed information did not stop at just CCW permitting. Additional information that was made public included information in the assault weapons registry, the handgun certified for sale database, the dealer record of sale and database, firearm safety certificate information, and gun violence restraining order information as well. All of that was made public and released. The dashboard was up for about 16 to 18 hours, I think it was about that time. And since then, it's been taken down. But the issue was that with this database, people could actually download all these components. So this information is still out there. People downloaded this information and it's still circulating around. And again, this included very private information. It included addresses, driver's licenses, date of births, and so much more. And as a California gun owner myself, as a CCW holder myself, this is absolutely infuriating that even my information as well is out there for anyone to get. And this was all done by the California Department of Justice. They just let this information get out there. This was not a leak like they claim. This was not something accidentally that happened. This was all on their watch. Now, it took about 48 hours for the Attorney General Rob Bonta to even acknowledge that this had happened. In his statements, he said, "This unauthorized release of personal information is unacceptable and falls far short of my expectations for this department. I immediately launched an investigation into how this occurred at the California Department of Justice and will take strong corrective measures where necessary." That should include firing yourself because you are responsible for this happening, Attorney General Rob Bonta. But of course, he's not going to do that. They're not actually going to take any responsibility for what happened. And again, the infuriating part of this is that they're claiming this was a data leak. This was not a leak. The California Department of Justice put this information in a database and made it accessible to the public at large. At best, this was gross negligence on the part of the California Department of Justice, but this wasn't a data leak. It's not like a third party hacked the website and stole this information that was private. The DOJ was the one who is responsible for actively putting this information out there. It was all on them. So don't buy into this whole data leak. It wasn't an accident. This wasn't something that they had no part in. This was them. This is their responsibility to keep this information private. There are bills that have been passed where they said they're going to collect this information and keep it private. We had concerns then when they passed those bills that they would release this information. We are always concerned about registries like this because information like this gets out there. We voiced those opinions. They told us we were being silly for even voicing those opinions about those bills in the collection of all this information. And now look what happened. Another thing I want to note is that there are now multiple reports that people are getting hit with credit fraud because of this information being released. So if you're a gun owner in California, if you're a CCW holder in California, please keep an eye on your credit. Keep an eye on your credit reports. I would recommend at least getting some sort of free credit report system that helps you keep an eye on all that. So this is absolutely insane. You can tell I'm infuriated by this. I know I'm a little late about talking about this, but there have been a lot of things going on in the Second Amendment world. There's been a ton of news. And also I've been talking behind the scenes with some organizations about plans to respond to this. So just understand sometimes I'm a little bit late because some things are happening behind closed doors. But the state of California's shenanigans did not just stop even with them doxing California residents. They now are pushing for a new CCW bill that directly defies the Supreme Court's ruling in Bruen. The bill we're going to talk about is SB 918, and it was just amended yesterday. So that is the one I'm going to go off in this video. So what is this bill going to do, and what is it going to change as far as CCW permits in California? Well, first it removes the good cause language in the law as required by the Supreme Court in Bruen. Now that's all the state of California should have done. They should have just stripped the good cause language and left it at that and made permits shall issue in the state of California, but they didn't do that. Instead, through this bill, they are trying to put in place more CCW restrictions and still make it this subjective standard. The bill first enhances the training requirements for CCWs. It changes the class time requirement for new CCW applications from 8 hours to 16 hours and changes renewals from 4 hours to 8 hours. So they are doubling the time of courses that you must meet to be able to get a CCW permit or to renew your CCW. They are also adding to what instruction you must get during these training requirements. They're including things like safe storage class time, more law instructions, various laws in the state of California, a mental health section, and then at the end of all this, you also have to take a written exam. But even before you take this insane course requirement and the test, your application may still be denied. And that is because this bill is pushing for a determination by law enforcement agencies that you are a qualified person. This essentially is the good moral character requirement, but they're just changing the name. To prove that you're a qualified person, you will have to do an in-person interview with an agency. You will need at least 3 character references, one of which has to be a spouse or a partner or someone who cohabitates with you if it applies to you. And also the agency will review all of your public available information, including social media posts. But let's say everything goes your way, you're deemed a qualified person, you pass the course, you pay your fees, well, now you're good to go, right? Now you can carry in the state of California. Well, no, not really. Under this bill, they were also going to add super restrictive carry locations. This bill in California outlines that parks, various buildings, restaurants that serve alcohol, any government-owned property, streets, sidewalks, things of that nature are off limits for carry. They then also throw in a catch-all carry ban on all privately owned commercial locations. The bill states any other privately owned commercial establishment that is open to the public, unless the operator of the establishment clearly and conspicuously posts a sign at the entrance of the building or on the premises indicating that the license holders are permitted to carry firearms on the property. So essentially everywhere in the state of California is going to be off limits unless that private business or the owner says carry is okay in the establishment. So this bill does a lot more than just those things I've mentioned, but those are kind of the main things. This bill flies in the face of what the Supreme Court just stated in the opinion in Bruen. The state is simply removing one subjective good cause standard and inserting another subjective good moral character standard, or that qualified person standard. Also, the state of California is violating the Supreme Court's ruling by trying to make everywhere in the state of California, private businesses included, a sensitive place unless they say otherwise. This is something, again, Thomas warned about. He said you can't just make everywhere a sensitive place. It has to be rooted in history and tradition, but the state of California doesn't care. They're still going to include this in the bill. So the state of California's plan is to stall out applications with more training restrictions and a subjective qualified person determination. And then even if you get your license, they want to bar you from carrying in almost every place. Now, there were some concerns that the state of California was going to try to pass this bill really fast, but I believe the state legislature is now in summer recess. They didn't get passed in time, so they're going to pick it back up in August, I believe. But please still contact your local representatives if you're in California. Let them know about the AG releasing the information, doxing all of our information, and also let them know that you oppose this bill, that they must oppose this bill, because not only does it violate the Second Amendment, but it directly violates and goes against what the Supreme Court just ruled on. So I will let you guys know if we get any more updates or information on these two things. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Al Gore's rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet and a signal to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. Again, I want to thank everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos impacting this channel and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could ever do on my own. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this is built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.